The classroom went silent. The new girl stood her ground while the bully reached for her arm. He thought she'd freeze, like everyone else before him. But what happened next would change the whole school. It was Amara Lewis's first week at Ridgeway Academy, an elite private school where the uniforms were crisp, the hallways quiet, and the whispers sharp enough to cut. At 16, she had transferred mid-semester on a scholarship. Her mother had passed a year earlier, a decorated veteran and a martial arts instructor who taught her 3 things: stand tall, speak calmly, and never start a fight you can't finish. Amara carried those lessons like armor. But at Ridgeway, armor didn't stop the stares. They whispered about her hair, her accent, her thrift store backpack. And leading the whispers was Ethan Cole, the golden boy of Ridgeway, star athlete, top grades, untouchable ego. He wasn't used to people like her. He didn't like that she wasn't intimidated. It started small: sarcastic jokes, muttered comments, a paper accidentally tossed at her desk. Amara ignored it all. But bullies feed on silence, and Ethan, he was starving for attention. So one Tuesday morning, he decided to make the whole class laugh. Mr. Daniels, the chemistry teacher, had just stepped out to take a call. Ethan turned in his seat, grinning. "Hey, new girl," he said loudly. "You sure you're in the right class?" "This isn't community school." A few kids snickered. Amara stayed silent, eyes steady on her notebook. He stood swaggering toward her desk. "Come on, don't ignore me," he smirked. "You think you belong here? Maybe you should go back where you came from." He reached for her arm, but the next few seconds changed everything. Amara stood, calm, focused, not afraid. The room went still. "Don't touch me," she said, voice low but steady. Ethan laughed. "What are you going to do about it?" And then she moved. She twisted her wrist, redirected his grip, and in one clean motion he was off balance, stumbling backward into a desk. It wasn't violent. It was controlled. The kind of move only someone trained could pull off. The class gasped. Ethan's face went red, half shock, half humiliation. Amara straightened her sleeve and said quietly, "Touch me again and I'll defend myself. But you'll lose a lot more than balance next time." Someone's phone was recording, and within minutes the clip spread through the school like wildfire. The next morning, Ethan was called to the principal's office. So was Amara. Students whispered in the hallways, some cheering her on, others waiting to see if she'd get expelled. Ethan walked in first, smirking. He saw the principal, Mr. Lewis, sitting behind the desk. "Sir," Ethan started, "I know what it looks like, but she—" Mr. Lewis raised a hand. "Sit down." Amara entered next, composed as ever. Ethan crossed his arms. "You can't let her get away with that. She attacked me." Mr. Lewis's expression didn't change. He opened a folder, revealing printed screenshots from the video. Ethan grabbing Amara's arm. Her calm defense, his stumble. Ethan's smile faltered. "Do you deny what's in this video?" Mr. Lewis asked. She provoked me." "By existing?" Ethan's jaw clenched. The silence stretched, heavy, suffocating. If you're enjoying this story so far, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Because what happens next will shock you even more. Mr. Lewis leaned back in his chair. "There's something you don't know about Amara," he said. Ethan frowned, confused. "She's not just a transfer student. She's my daughter." The room went dead silent. Amara looked down, quiet. She hadn't wanted anyone to know. After her mother, a veteran and educator, passed away, Mr. Lewis, who'd served with her years ago, adopted Amara. He had chosen to keep that private so she could start fresh. Ethan's face drained of color. You're her father?" Mr. Lewis nodded slowly. "And you just tried to bully, humiliate, and lay hands on my child in my school?" Ethan stammered. I didn't know." "That's the problem," Mr. Lewis said quietly. "You didn't care to." The consequences came fast. Ethan was suspended for the semester. The school's board, even his powerful parents, couldn't protect him from the video that now had half the city talking. But Amara didn't gloat. She didn't post, didn't brag, didn't even mention it again. Instead, she focused on something her mother had loved: music. When the school hosted its annual assembly a month later, Amara stepped onto the stage with a violin in hand. The auditorium fell silent as she began to play. A soft, powerful piece her mother had written. The same bully who had tried to drag her down now sat in the crowd, watching her take the spotlight with grace he couldn't touch. When the final note faded, the audience rose to its feet. Even the teachers had tears in their eyes. Mr. Lewis stood near the side of the stage, pride written across his face. Amara bowed her head slightly, whispering to herself, "For you, Mom." And that day, Ridgeway Academy learned something unforgettable. Strength isn't loud. Power doesn't need shouting. And sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who teaches everyone how to stand tall. They tried to drag her out of class. But in the end, she lifted the whole school higher.